After that howler, you don't speak about howlers. Let's talk about Arsenal's performance in the
Let's
Carabao Cup
go!
Final.
Let's go.
Arsenal 0, Manchester City 2. Manchester City have claimed the first trophy in 2026 to the hands of Pep Guardiola and the Man City boys. David, I was at Wembley. I was there live and direct.
Made it onto the big screen.
Oh, mate. Yeah, if there was a highlight this week, it would probably be that was probably the best day of my career. But let's talk about the football first. Yeah, David, man. We had a shocker of a final.
We wet the bed, man. We wet
it
strong. Like, obviously, the first 20 minutes, obviously, we've started off well. Havertz had his couple chances with Saka follow up. After that, we didn't really threaten from corners. The set piece taking weren't the greatest. And then from minute 20, City just dominated. It's one of those when you're watching the game, yeah, and you're seeing where City can hurt you, but they're not hurting you.
Yeah.
But Arsenal, we're not doing nothing. There is nothing, no passes, no passage of play. It was just long ball, bruv. And see if Gyökeres, like from both the strikers, Gyökeres and Haaland were just fighting the centre backs, so they were out the game. So it was up to the midfield to try and do something. And Semenya had Nkapie on skates.
Careful.
Oh, he did, bro. Hey,
the Arsenal fans will flog you like what they did Righty.
Mate, Semenyo had Nkapie on skates. Doku, Ben White done well with him. He didn't really do nothing too tough. Zubimendi and Rice really didn't control the midfield.
Yeah.
They were just there. Havertz, as I said, he's not a number 10. What his role was in the game, only God knows. Gyökeres was taking out the game. Trossard didn't do anything. I don't see what he was doing. Saka got on the ball, but really didn't do much. And so, listen, it was coming, and then obviously we've gone in halftime. All right, cool. City have dominated the game. All right, you're thinking, cool. Come out second half, let's go. We did not come out of first gear. It was like we parked the bus, and City were just pressing us. Keeper kept holding onto the ball for bare time. Didn't know where to pass it to. It was just, all the momentum was just sitting. And then obviously the mistake happened. And, 2-goal. Then we concede again. We're about to make the sub, and then we concede again. And it's just like, that's game done. We weren't going to create any chances. From that point, I knew, this game's lost, mate. I know we hit the bar and the post, but apart from that, really, what I ain't got no excuse for you. All I would say, as I told Peter when we were at the funeral, medical team needs to be fired. What the hell happened? And it comes and bites you. Because now we've got chemistry, Eze is flowing, Next minute, man's out for no reason given. My man's is in the stands. And it's cost out. Not saying it's an excuse, but the whole plan's gone out. Our normal game plan's out the window. And now we have to play different. And
yeah, man. I'll be honest, man. I just felt embarrassed, man. I just felt embarrassed by the end of it. Like the first half, I think, as you said, I think football is a tale of two. It's like a coin, isn't it? In a game, you're gonna have momentum one side and it's gonna flip to the other side. And I thought that's what the first half kind of looked like. It looked like we started off strong, and I think it's almost like my mantra for Champions League matches. In a final, two things you have to live by: take your chances, don't make any mistakes. We didn't take our chance. I mean, Havertz's miss in the 6th minute, I thought, was so bad. It was really, really poor. It was a weak attempt at a finish. And a lot of his play was very languid, he was sort of waiting for things to come or waiting for things to happen with it. Took his time. There were some challenges that were made in the game. And on one hand, great challenges from especially Kusanov, for example. But on the other hand, I looked at Havertz like, mate, you got to have more intention, more quickness, more readiness. I don't think our boys turned up for the final. In all honesty, I think the tactics in the first half were two top coaches who, we were playing chess, really. We'll see who can deliver the first dagger. And sure, the last 10 minutes of the first half, City, I think, were heavily on us. What was said in the dressing rooms for both dressing rooms from both managers, I need to listen to, because on one hand, we come out and we were asleep, right? Under the cosh, absolutely nothing. We were under the cosh by City. They were Wembley, you know how it is. One end is City, one end was Arsenal, right? In the first half, I saw a bit of action coming down my side, and a bit of action was down the further end. In the second half, bro, I didn't see action come down my side until like the 75th minute, maybe. The ball was just over there. And at Wembley, you try and look at the opposition or try and watch a football match when the ball's in the other box. It's the longest distance ever. It was a long day, and the time just kept ticking. The time just kept going. And it was like, okay, but the way that the first 10 minutes of the second half, I saw City have us under the cosh. And then the City fans started to sing, because Arsenal fans were really on it pre-match. They were really, really loud, passionate. And at the beginning of the game, as City started to get more of a foothold, obviously that kind of calmed down. That kind of quietened down a bit. But the second half, the City fans then started to chant because they knew something was coming. And as soon as I was saying to Michael, I was like, as soon as the City fans are feeling something, bang, we have the first mistake from Kepa. Kepa's mistake crushed our spirit completely. Completely. We were not going to score goals, really, but that crushed us. That completely finished us.
I think the second is the man. Yeah, and then we conceded another one.
The second one is just like poor marking. And don't get me wrong, O'Reilly is not, I don't know him to be one that's like a danger in the penalty area, personally. Maybe you guys do. I haven't watched maybe City that much in depth, but if you said why is nobody looking at O'Reilly, I wouldn't have been that surprised. I wouldn't be like, yeah, somebody should be marking him. He's had two bites of the cherry. Havertz, have a look. You know what I mean? Because he that's how you take your chance. When you get that chance in the final, you're not going to get many. And then, when Nkapie is on a yellow card early doors, and that completely handicapped him completely, because he couldn't be the same Nkapie, because he's all about aggression and going through you, basically. And he couldn't do that when he's on a yellow card already. So bring on Calafiori earlier, because guess what? When Calafiori comes on, we get a bit of a bite in attack. We get a bit of something from him. Havertz, unfortunately, with the Ezra of it all, where on earth that came from that he wasn't in the squad. I was doing the starting 11, announcing it at Wembley, and I was like, wait, there's no Ezra in the squad. And it dawned on me after I'd finished it, basically. So I'm doing all these players, and I'm like, I've got to number 56, Max Dowman, and I'm like, wait, hang on a minute, I've just clocked. Like, Ezra's not on the squad. What happened there? He's doing all the press run this week. He did everything. So we had no creativity at all. And unfortunately, Havertz in that position didn't offer us any creativity at all. I was saying to Michael that Gyökeres was having a cardio session, because I felt sorry for the guy. All he did was chase every ball. Nothing was played to him. He just went chasing, heading. Saliba, I thought, was fantastic against Haaland. I thought he was fantastic. That was a great battle. I watched two people at the highest level going toe to toe, and I thought this is exceptional. We're watching the best of the world up front. We're watching the best in the centre half position. This was unbelievable. They were fighting each other, and it was a good dogged fight. I thought the referee was awful. I thought he had an absolute shocker, because there were some moments where in the game, like when we're getting our yellow cards as early as we were getting them, and what City weren't getting, I saw a player actually wrestle someone to the floor and got nothing.
I think Bernardo Silva should have got a yellow early doors as well.
And they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I think Kuznetsov got one. I think he got one early.
Kuznetsov, I think, got one. Yeah, he got one early, but I don't think he was the main issues in terms of challenges. It was more the other players that were around. And I just love that Ben White, when Shirky's given the kick-ups on the side, I love that Ben White went and took him out, because it was the only bit of fight, really. Him and Saliba were the only two players that can hold themselves in this game.
Pete, I would say defensively, I don't have any complaints, But it's one of those games, like earlier in the season where I've been complaining about our style of play, and there's only so much the defense can do.
Yeah.
And our attack just let us down. And so
I have a question.
Definitely the attack. Yeah, definitely the attack.
From my perspective, I think Arsenal were a bit too defensive. Like, I think they went ultra defensive, especially from the second half onwards until.
I think it was good City, Robin. I genuinely think that they put us under the. I don't think that was by design. I think City battered us.
City, I think
City battered us.
From the last 10 minutes of the first half, they knew, all right, Guardiola said, all right, these men are not on it, bruv. He went for the kill.
He went for the kill.
Push up. Kuzunov, I know you got the pace. Keeper can't play long from the back.
By the way, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Because I'm just looking from
David's point there. Not one City player was in my half. Not one in the game in the second half.
Because he knew they can't play through us.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they were so high up, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
I was watching it. I was like, right, Arsenal keep in shape. Arsenal stuff. I get City all in the half, but I just felt like you guys sat back a bit too much, and that's why I allowed City to get. That's how I felt watching it.
There was no one to midfield. We had no one to midfield for us, basically.
No, I agree.
It's interesting. It's very interesting Robin's take because he sees it from a hand of like Arsenal retracted, but I think City pushed us there. I feel like City just said, "You're going to stay here. We're going to camp, set up tents because you're going nowhere."
Look how long Kepa was holding the ball for like 40 seconds.
Yeah. Sometimes he's just rolling the ball on his foot.
Rolling the ball is like, where do I go with the ball? Can somebody
offer? Yeah, can somebody offer themselves?
I think watching back Semenyo's interview at the end of the game, he said that they asked him if he was nervous, and he said no, he wasn't nervous because they had a game plan. And he said as long as we stuck to that game plan, we knew we were going to win today. And I think a big part of that was them just sitting off and not pressing you. So therefore your centre-backs and your keeper didn't know where to play that ball into the middle. Mm-hmm. And I saw someone say on Twitter today that part of the reason Arsenal couldn't bypass that was because your midfielders just aren't set up to collect the ball. Like like if they just punched a pass through the line, because City had a line of the four attackers that would just stand off your centre-backs and just the ball kept going between the back five for Arsenal a lot of the time. So there wasn't the space to punch it through. So I think it's interesting. It seems like it was Pep versus Arteta, and Pep just out strategized him on this occasion.
Pep's tactics were spot on. They were just bang on. I think at the same breath, and I'd probably give 60%, 70% to the reason for that win was Pep's tactics were bang on. However, we did not show up for the fight.